All right, folks, welcome back to the Powers on Sports podcast. It's the Christmas week edition. Hopefully you have all your Christmas packages bought. Hopefully you're not waiting for them to get shipped and delivered to you. You got to get them wrapped. There's still a couple of days left to Christmas, depending on when you're listening to this podcast. And I'm sure some of you are in the stores right now on Friday night at 5 o'clock, getting those last minute items as we head to Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So welcome to the Powers on Sports podcast. I'm your host, Jason Powers. We got a good episode for you this week. We're going to talk to Peter Blake, the host of the Sports Web streaming show on NSPN and I Love St. Pete Facebook platforms. He's my tag team partner and co-host on the No Quarter Given podcast, which we talk about all things Buccaneers and their week's opponents. He's my tag team partner down here in the Tampa Bay area. We are going to talk to Peter today about some NFL stuff, COVID, college football playoff coming up, Christmas Day, shopping, what's he doing for shopping, and most importantly, he is a world famous, he went viral this weekend. We're going to get into him going viral and getting a new piece of jewelry here coming up real soon. So welcome back to the podcast, Peter. Glad you're joining us. How's your Christmas going, buddy?
Well, I feel attacked at this point, Jason Powers. I haven't gotten my shopping done. And on top of it, I do my shopping that last Friday. Of course, being weird this year, it's Christmas Eve on that Friday. Saturday is going to be Christmas Day. And then, of course, your Tampa Bay Buccaneers get a good Christmas present by playing the, who do they play on the 26th after that? They play
Carolina Panthers.
Carolina Panthers. So, and it's this week. So you get a little Christmas present there. But yeah, I felt kind of attacked there. I was asking you off here, what are you getting me for Christmas? I'm putting you on the spot here. What are you getting me for Christmas, Jason Powers?
I asked, and my response was, do you smoke cigars? And your answer was no. And I said, well, neither do I.
So basically, you're getting me nothing.
So the gift I was going to give you, I'm no longer giving you because you don't smoke cigars.
What you should have said is, hey, I'm getting you what I'm getting you last year. And what was that, Jason? Nothing.
Big goose egg. Big goose egg. All right.
That's
Christmas memories. Talk to us before we get to all the sports stuff. It's Christmas. Do you and the Blake family have any Christmas traditions? Do you celebrate on Christmas Eve, Christmas morning? Tell me what the Peter Blake family takes care of on Christmas.
Well, sometimes the Bucs games are on Christmas Eve. We've had that happen before. So after the Bucs game, we have a little party. We have some family over, and we kind of eat a little bit and have eggnog and celebrate. Of course, usually, the Bucs would win on that day. So, that's our maybe open one present, if you will, the night before. And then after that, we get up real early. I think I don't get up as early as I used to because I'm older now. So, of course, I'm not a guy. And I have sisters in my family, and they would always get up 8, 9 o'clock. And as they get older, of course, now they have their own lives. You don't have that. So we'll probably be going to family house there, my sisters, and she'll probably not get up as early as she used to, but it'll be fun times. Everybody will get something and we'll unwrap something. And then at the end of the day, you're able to go back to sleep if you're adult, usually.
Interesting thing this year from a sports perspective, usually Christmas Day was kind of designated for the NBA. That was kind of one of their big days of the year. You'd have NBA games on all throughout the day. Now the NFL is getting involved. There's 2 NFL games. You got the Packers and you got Cleveland early, and then Christmas night. I'm trying to think what the night game is. There, Indianapolis and Arizona's at night on Christmas night. What are your thoughts of the NFL trying to kind of wedge their way into the Christmas Day calendar as opposed to leaving it all to the NBA?
Shocker! I mean, it's really good to have the NFL on a Christmas Day. I mean, what's better than unwrapping gifts and then after that watching some NFL football? It's America's game. You have it on Monday, you have it on Thursday. You have it on Saturday, you have it on Christmas, you have it on Sunday. So why not keep on doing that? And are we going to get football on, we're going to get football on New Year's Day, right? New Year's Day and New Year's Eve this year?
Yeah, New Year's Eve college football playoff, which we're going to get to here in a little bit. You got bowl games. You got the NFL there's going to be some NFL on New Year's Day as well. It's funny how the NFL, man, they don't care. They're the bully. They will wedge their way into anybody's day. You know, again, we talked about the NBA kind of owned Christmas Day for a long time. The NFL doesn't care. This week in particular, we had games on Saturday, Sunday, Monday night because of the 2 games on Monday night because of rescheduling, 2 games on Tuesday night because of COVID. We're going to have a game on Thursday night, I believe. We're going to have a game on Saturday. We're going to have a game on Sunday and a game on Monday. If you're the NFL, wow. What a country.
It is. It's a great country to live in, that's for sure. Especially when it comes to sports, but you talk about the postponements, and we're going to get into COVID, obviously, at this point. I mean, your thoughts on this? We thought this was gone, and now you got a new variant, and you're going to have cancellations and everybody getting it again. And it's just like, oh, no, not again. Are we going towards a shutdown? I mean, how do you?
They're not shutting down, brother. I can promise you the NFL is not giving any money back to the TV networks. They did that last year, and there were some cancellations and moving games around. They're not doing that. They've made that very clear with how they've adjusted these policies. They're playing the games. The owners are going to get all the money they're going to get, which I get it. I understand that, but yeah, they've given the players all the opportunity in the world to get vaccinated. You're still seeing guys that are testing positive that have not been vaccinated. Those stories are coming out. Obviously, there's a lot of guys that have been vaccinated that are testing positive. They're changing the protocols. Just your thoughts of the NFL, you've got teams that have been missing 10, 15, 20 guys because of positive tests. Do you think they're going to change the protocols once and for all to where if a player tests positive but is asymptomatic, that they're going to let them play? What do you think? They should.
I mean, if they're asymptomatic and, they're able to play, why not let them play? Because it hurts the NFL teams. And then on top of it, what you hope doesn't happen, which has happened across other leagues here, the NBA, possibly the NHL here eventually, as they shut down last night for about a week. You don't want to lose that fan support because we know how valuable home field advantage can be, especially here in the Tampa Bay area, Raymond James Stadium. So you hope that they're able not only to have those players play through it if they're asymptomatic, but also you don't cut down the fans because you need that fan support. But at the end of the day, it's all about the safety, if you will, of the players and, of course, the fans.
And it's interesting. The quality of the product is the part that the fans are really concerned about. You had 2 teams start third-string quarterbacks. Nick Mullins for Cleveland on the Monday night. They lose to the Las Vegas Raiders 16-14, which most people would have thought if Case Keenum or Mayfield play, they get an opportunity to play. No Kevin Stefanski as well. We saw it last Sunday night. Sean Payton test positive. He's out for the Saints. Dennis Allen gets it done in Tampa. And then you saw Tuesday night in the Washington-Philadelphia game, Garrett Gilbert, who was on the New England roster a week ago, turns around and starts the game for the Washington football team. They get beat pretty convincingly by the Eagles in a critical game for both teams. Both teams were still in the hunt. That's the part that I think the fans will start howling about pretty soon, is if the games are being compromised, especially at this stage of the year where there's playoff implications in all these games, if you got third-string quarterbacks playing because a guy's maybe test positive, but he's asymptomatic. A guy like Baker Mayfield, we don't know what his symptoms are or not, but those are the questions that you're going to have to answer if you're the NFL.
Well, the symptom is you're making too many insurance commercials. Maybe you shouldn't stay in the stadium. I'm just joking, but you're exactly right. And it definitely hurts the product. And of course, it hurts the team's chances of making the playoffs. And right now, it seems like every NFL team, unless you're in Jacksonville, of course, or you're in Houston or one of those other
the Jets, Giants.
Jets and Giants, the greatness of those New York teams. You're in it at this point. So you don't want any injuries. And of course, you don't want to be out because of COVID. So yeah, it's a little bit disappointing, but the NFL will fight through. Do you like how they've handled this situation, or do you feel like they should have players play through asymptomatic if the protocols are met?
This is such a changing dynamic of an environment. Again, week to week, things change as far as the new information about how strong these variants are, the symptoms, the long-term effects. I don't have a problem. I think the NFL's done a pretty decent job of managing the situation. It's because what you don't want is you don't want all of a sudden a guy who tests positive but is asymptomatic, all of a sudden that for whatever reason, that random person turns into a super spreader where all of a sudden he's now contaminating other guys and all that stuff. Coaches, especially, have a lot of older coaches that are more vulnerable than necessarily the young guy. The Buccaneers are a great example. They've got some older coaches on their staff. Every team has some older coaches. That's the part I think they're nervous about, is putting a guy out there that's maybe positive, even though he's asymptomatic, and all of a sudden you have a huge outbreak somewhere, and then they're on the hook for a big liability lawsuit. Now, guys that are not vaccinated, I have no sympathy for, as far as having to sit out. A guy like Cole Beasley who just tested positive. I got no sympathy for that guy. You have to sit out 10 days. Sorry, sit out 10 days, get quarantined. I got no sympathy for guys that haven't been vaccinated.
That's it. No, I agree with you on that. And that's the, it is the ever-changing thing. We don't know what the long-term effect of these new variants are going to be. And, hopefully they're minimal, because it seems like from everything you hear, the symptoms are mild. And I had COVID. It's not a picnic. It's terrible. You don't eat anything. It seems like you have a fever all day long. You lose a lot of weight. I mean, you ever heard of the COVID diet? It's basically drinking Gatorade and water, and that's about it. If you could put anything down, it's not going to be good. In fact, I tried to have a Popeye's chicken sandwich, okay? If you can't taste a Popeye's chicken sandwich, then there's something wrong. And I couldn't eat for about 2 weeks because you can't taste it. You can't taste anything. It's terrible. So hopefully no NFL players are going through that. Hopefully it is asymptomatic, but it's an ever-changing situation, Jason Powers, and all across sports right now.
Let's get to on the field. What are your thoughts of all these coaches going for two, all these fourth downs, going for it all the time? Stupid. John Harbaugh, for the second time in 3 weeks, goes for two at the end of a game, comes up short both times. They've now lost their last three losses are by a total of 4 points. Critical game they lost to Green Bay. They make a huge comeback Sunday afternoon in Baltimore. Tyler Huntley plays really well, brings them back from 31-17 down. He gets to 31-30, goes for two, doesn't make it. They lose 31-30. Right now, Baltimore is no longer in the playoffs. A week ago, they were leading the division. Now they're out of the playoffs completely. Just your thought. Brandon Staley, Thursday night against Kansas City last week, going for it every time on fourth down, it seemed like. Fine line between balance, going for it, and being reckless.
Well, you're being reckless. You're taking points off the board, and you're not, in my opinion, using common sense. You're trying to be the smartest guy in the room, and it doesn't always work out that way. Take the damn points. If you got a good kicker that can make kicks, take those points, especially when you're the Baltimore Ravens in that situation. Kick the extra point. Go to overtime unless you don't have confidence in your defense against an Aaron Rodgers, who, by the way, is still hurt with the toe injury, or you don't have confidence in Huntley, who played pretty well. But to that point, if you watch the replay, the player is open in the end zone. He just makes the wrong read, tries to go to Andrews, who, of course, is double covered.
Right.
The other player in the end zone is wide open over the middle, but he misses it. Of course, damned if you do, damned if you don't. But again, give your team the chance and the opportunity to go to overtime, kick the extra point. And John Harbaugh and the Ravens have not learned that, and it's cost them 2 games.
And early at the first possession of the game, me and you were watching the game. Baltimore goes right down the field, has an 8-minute drive, 4th and 3 at the 3-yard line. They don't kick a field goal. You've had a great drive. It just demoralizes your team when you don't do that. Kick the freaking field goal. Don't waste opportunity. I mean, analytics doesn't take into effect the elements of the game. It doesn't take into effect that you've had the ball for 8 minutes. It doesn't take in the effect of the weather's bad. It doesn't take in the effect of this or that. kick the game management. And I know Harbaugh has always been a risk taker and a go for it kind of guy. You got the best kicker in NFL history on your roster. Don't go for it 4th and 3 early in the game. Kick the field goal, especially in a game when nobody thinks you're going to win the game. Kick the field goal, get on the board, put some pressure on the Green Bay offense.
Take the points. That's it.
I mean, Brandon Staley was killing me last Thursday night against Kansas City. That game, they could have won the division. They could win the division if they beat Kansas City. He goes for it on the first possession, 4th and goal from the 5, nothing. Goes for it at the end of the half, 4th and goal from the 2, nothing. And guess what? They lose the game.
And they got no chance now, most likely, to win a division because of those type of decisions. And that's exactly why the previous coach got fired in the first place. Situational football is probably the most important football at the end of the day. And when you lack in those situations, when it comes to game management and clock management, then you're in big trouble. And it's a shame for the Chargers because they got lots of talent, great young quarterback in Justin Herbert. But that decision-making is just completely mind-numbing.
Yeah, crazy. The best game, the best game manager of the clock and score in situations. How many Super Bowl rings does he have up in New England? What does he do all the time? What does he do? Takes the points. Kick the field goal. The point.
Yep. Take the points. Be conservative. At the end of the day, depend on your defense. And obviously, these teams don't really have that much faith in their defenses going forward.
Like Bill Belichick says all the time, we're all about letting the other team beat themselves. It's not about how much you win the game. It's allowing the other guys to lose the game.
Right.
And those kind of decisions are what create the problems. And if Baltimore doesn't make the playoffs, they're going to go back to those two situations in particular and say, if we kick the extra point, we probably win one of the two games. There's no guarantee that you're going to win the game in overtime. I get it. But you're probably going to figure out a way to win one of those two games if you kick the extra point instead of going for two both times.
Agree. Absolutely agree.
All right. College football. Let's get over one more topic in the NFL. Give me your favorites out of the NFC and the AFC. Both conferences are jammed up at the top and the bottom. Who do you like coming out of the AFC and the NFC?
Well, I still think you can't go against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, even though their disappointing performance versus the Saints. You have Tom Brady, you have a chance. It certainly looks like it's the Green Bay Packers. So to me, it's Bucs and Packers in the NFC Championship game. And then you go back to the AFC. Right now, Kansas City is red hot. They're playing some good football. And I still contend that it's either going to it's tough right now for me. New England, the way they looked versus the Colts, they look very normal. Rookie quarterback. I still think it's Kansas City and Buffalo, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong about this. It could be Kansas City and New England, but I like Kansas City and Buffalo. I'm going to stick with the original pick because I actually, at the first of the year, picked the Bucs versus the Buffalo Bills in Super Bowl 56. So I'm going to stick with that. But New England and the Colts, look, they could make a run here. I mean, they really could. And
with that running back, and that defense.
Yeah, I mean, look, the running back and defense, that's not been the problem this year. The problem is closing out teams and winning those close games, and the Colts' inability to do that because they've lost a lot of close games this year. They can put that together. We know you have a good running back, a good defense, and a quarterback that won't turn over the ball. A DLG quarterback, you can go very far. So I would not rule out the Colts. In fact, they would be the dark horse coming out of the AFC, if anything else.
I'm with you. And I think huge matchup in Foxborough Sunday afternoon. Patriots Bills. If the Patriots win, they're going to win the division, which is going to put Buffalo on the road as a wild card. If Buffalo wins the game, though, they've got a great chance to still win the AFC East. And I think they'll have the tiebreaker edges on the tiebreakers with the Patriots. I'm with you. I still think Buffalo is a major threat. They're starting to run the ball a little bit more. Singletary's, they don't have to be great running the ball. They just have to give it some touches. They don't have to run for 150 yards a week, but they just have to take a little pressure off Josh Allen in that passing game. The defense is good in Buffalo. I like McDermott as a coach. I'm with you. I still think it's a Buffalo, Kansas City, and I'm with you. I think the Colts are a massive wild card, maybe even a team like Cincinnati. if they can get a home game, if they can win that division, you're shaking your head over there. You don't.
I don't know about Cincinnati, because every time I want to get on that bandwagon, Jason Powers, and say, Cincinnati could be a dangerous team with Joe Burrow and, of course, Jamar Chase, they disappoint me. And it's because they are so young and because their defense basically can't stop anybody. And then on top of it, the offensive line at points in the season, there's too much pressure being put on that young quarterback. And I talked about it in the offseason. They should have drafted an offensive lineman, albeit Chase has been everything that and more with the potential coming out of LSU. So, I'm not banking on Cincinnati at this point. I kind of like our picks, and the dark horse for me is the Colts. In the NFC, if you're going to have a dark horse, I think it's the Rams. If they start to put it together, but
they're putting it together.
Yeah. It comes down to Matt Stafford playing better football at the end of the day.
They're in a position to potentially win that division now. They're equal. They're tied with Arizona in the loss column. They've won 2 in a row. They beat Arizona soundly. They beat the Buccaneers soundly early in the year. I'm going to give you my wild card in the NFC.
Okay.
San Francisco 49ers.
Okay.
The play caller. I know Jimmy G's always, you never know, but they got their play caller. They got a great running game. Their defense is playing well. I think that's a team that could travel in the weather with that running game, with Deebo Samuel running back, with Eli Mitchell. You got Shanahan calling the plays. I think that's a team that nobody wants to play come wild card weekend.
I agree with you on that. If it wasn't for Jimmy G, because he shows flashes of brilliance, and we've seen this before, but we've also seen Jimmy G turn over the ball. So I don't know what to think is going on in that NFC. I mean, of course, I think you have Minnesota still in that chase.
Yep.
That's Philadelphia with Jalen Hurts. I mean, who knows? Maybe Washington gets back into it. Dallas Cowboys. I mean, it's up in the air when it comes to dark horses, but it's all cobbled up.
Wild card weekend is going to be so exciting this year. I think with only one bye and basically 6 games on that weekend. Remember, fans, you're going to have games on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. There's going to be Monday night wild card weekend, Monday night games on wild card weekend for you to view as well. So you're going to have some great matchups in that first round, that wild card round.
Yeah, and I'll be taking off probably most of that. I won't be working that Monday night doing my show. It'll probably be a Tuesday because of all that wild card madness, especially a wild card game on a Monday night. What's better than that? I mean, for all the marbles at that point to move on, and it's on Monday Night Football. It's a beautiful thing.
Right. All right. Let's get to the college football playoff. Give me a quick thought. January 31st, New Year's Eve. You got the playoff games. Alabama, Cincinnati from Jerry World, and then Georgia, Michigan from Miami. Just a quick thought on each game.
I think Alabama wins over Cincinnati. I'm glad to see Cincinnati in it because they're undefeated. They earned the opportunity. Now, most likely, they're going to get their doors blown off, although maybe Cincinnati stays in this game with their quarterback, and we'll see how that works out. I think Nick Saban, of course, the coaching advantage there. Michigan beats Georgia. I've been called crazy on this. I do not think it's going to be a rematch between Alabama and Georgia. I like what Michigan's doing right now. I like what Jim Harbaugh's got going. Good defense, of course, led by those 2 pass rushers on the outside, and Hutchinson, who could be a first-round pick. They got a running game. There's something about Michigan and Georgia's offense to me doesn't impress me at all. In fact, it's very inconsistent. I like Alabama and Michigan to meet in the national championship game, and I've been called crazy for this, but I feel like it is Michigan's year to win the national championship.
There you go. Yeah, I think Alabama's going to be a clear favorite over Cincinnati. I think the spread, I think, is 13.5. I think Alabama's going to cover the spread. I think they're going to beat them by a couple touchdowns. I just think there's too many athletes in Tuscaloosa. I think Cincinnati is a great story. Luke Fickell, good quarterback, Desmond Ridder, good running attack. I just think if as long as Alabama can get to the game as far as avoiding any COVID issues. And again, that's something that'll play a factor in all these games, college and the pros, are these COVID issues. You've already seen the Michigan team. I saw a story yesterday. They're going to, as an entire team, get the booster shot together. I think it's today or tomorrow. they're going to, as a whole team, get the booster shot, which I think it's a great thing. There's controversy at quarterback in Georgia. Is it going to be JT Daniels? Is it going to be Stetson Bennett? I think I saw something where JT Daniels entered the protocols for COVID, so he maybe had tested positive. We don't know the extent of that yet. But who's going to be the quarterback for Georgia? Is it JT? Is it Stetson Bennett? And I'm with you. The consistency of Michigan has been very impressive. The defensive line and the defense is real. The running game is real. They're not very creative on offense. They do a lot of creative things in the running game, but the quarterback's okay. He's good, not great, which is fine. You can still win that way. Sure. But it's going to be very interesting to see if Georgia can get through that Michigan offensive line and defensive line.
Agree. Absolutely agree. So I think college football once again got it right, and we'll see what two teams are going to be there for the national championship game.
I gotcha. Yep. And the national championship game actually is in Indianapolis this year in the Lucas Oil Field up in Indianapolis is where the national championship game will be held. I think it's 10 days later, the Monday night following. It's either a Sunday or Monday. A week later, they get about 10 days off before that championship game. So, all right, you listen to the Powers on Sports podcast. I'm Jason, along with Peter Blake, host of the Sports Web, the evolution of sports talk television, online streaming. I Love St. Pete and the NSPN Facebook platforms. Peter and I do a pregame, halftime, and postgame show on Sundays with the Buccaneers, on Sundays at Ducky's in Tampa. If you're in the Tampa Bay area, come out and see us. We're there every Sunday doing halftime, and post-game analysis. Again, Peter, promote away as far as online stuff, where they can find you online, all that good stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Go like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Of course, we're live on NSPN I Love St. Pete on Monday and Wednesday nights here, 9:00 Eastern. It's the Sports Web, the evolution of sports talk television. And like my man right there, Jason Powers said, pre-half and post-game editions live here locally at Ducky, 1719 West Kennedy Boulevard in Tampa. Definitely join us on Sundays. We get you ready for the Bucks versus.
We break it down. We give you live updates, scoring updates, live on the air. We talk gambling. We talk injuries. We talk 4 o'clock games, night games, Monday night games. We had Fred McGriff on last week, the former MLB, soon to be Hall of Famer. We hope he was on the telecast for several minutes. So it's a great. Peter does a great job hosting. We do a lot of different content. We have reporters at the stadium sometimes, at Bucks games, Saints games, Jacksonville games. So Peter does a great job doing a mixture of content and all types of things related to the NFL schedule that particular week. But lastly,
yes,
the big news, Peter Blake, over the weekend, you become a worldwide sensation, man. You were at the Jake Paul fight. You covered the Jake Paul fight here in Tampa. The Jake Paul, those of you that don't know Jake, he's the YouTube guy. That's a fight. That's getting into the boxing game. He had a big card here in Tampa over the weekend. Knocked out Woodley, Cole. You saw that all over the ESPN platforms, all the different sports platforms. That punch that put Woodley to sleep. But more importantly, post-fight, one Peter Blake was in the interview room, had some interesting questions for Mr. Paul. I want you to tell us the story, Peter Blake.
Well, yeah, here's the thing. At first, I didn't know if I was even gonna get in at the time, thanks to Steve Pratt of Showtime Network, Showtime Boxing, of course, Uncle TJ Reeves for getting me in on Big Fight Weekend. And once we got into the building, you see a great fight, of course, big time knockout by Jake Paul over Tyron Woodley. We get into the post game.
Real quick, before you get to the post game, give the audience a sense of the arena. Was it a packed arena? What was the electricity like in Amalie Arena Saturday night?
Over 18,000. In fact, there were fights in the stands. The Island Boys, I know you're a big fan of those guys. They were in the house. They were getting peanuts and beer thrown on them. We saw this. In fact, at some point, the audience fights were a lot more entertaining than some of the boxing matches. But once they got to the real deal, with Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley, and of course Amanda Serrano and Darren Williams and Frank Gore. Those were highly entertaining. But you get to the post game, my stupid laptop will not connect. I gotta go and ask TJ. You have a hotspot? Yeah, connect the hotspot. You get hooked up right before the fight because I'm always in the thinking of I'm not doing enough research on something. I decided to listen to an interview that Mr. Paul had with Woodley on Showtime where he gave a Rolex to Woodley. So I thought of the question right away because it said, oh, you got one more question left. I was like, okay, Jake, are you going to start giving away Rolexes to all your opponents? Because you called your shot, you knocked out Woodley. And he said, yeah, with them going through the trauma that they go through my fights, why not? And then he goes, hey, do you want a Rolex? And I said, yeah, I'll take a Rolex. What's your name? Oh, my name is Peter Blake. Peter Blake, you're going to look great in a Rolex. And it's like, go ahead and get your information. And I thought he was joking around. He wasn't. He looked to his manager, said, get his information. Here comes Logan Paul. Both of those guys have been in WWE. Hands me his phone. I give him my information. Then I say on the live broadcast, because you can hear it on NSPN, I Love St. Pete. Of course, go friend me on Facebook, Peter H. Blake. You guys did a great job in WWE. He laughs. And then next thing you know, a couple of days later on that Monday, well, we should backtrack a little bit. I went viral on ESPN on Sports Center for Instagram, which right now it's at 1 million views of that press conference, that 44 seconds of my life that I definitely will never take back because everybody now knows my name, which is amazing in itself because throughout my career, it's been, I've hit the lottery 2 times here. And I want to tell you why. Knowing TJ Reeves, Uncle TJ Reeves, the first baseball game I went to, I won off his radio show when I was 17 years old, the Texas All-Star game. And now I get a chance to go to the post-fight extravaganza known as Jake Paul. So that was so cool. And then Monday I do a show. And of course I gave him my information and my real number is the show number. I'll even give the number out right now if you want it. 727-255-0391. That number is dialed. And I thought it was a prank call. And it was actually Marcos Guerrero, who is the assistant to Jake Paul. And he calls in and goes, I go, well, you where are you calling from?
And you were on the air, right? You were on the air. I'm
live on the air. And I'm saying, well, you want to talk Tampa Bay Buccaneer football or something else? Okay, we'll go for it. Well, this is Jake Paul's assistant. And I'm like, are you serious? We're live right now. So and keep in mind, if you watch the video, because I'm choking up right now, Harry the Greek of 1252 Sports says that might be the guy. And I said, no, you're an idiot. That's not the guy. It's a prank caller, but it was not a prank caller. Get off the line, get off the air for really quick, have Harry take over, give him my information. They say, look, we're sending you out the Rolex here in a couple days. You're getting it. Merry Christmas. And on top of it, I say, look, is there any way we can get Jake Paul on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television? And Marco says, yep, we'll send you a schedule. We'll get him on. So everything working in my favor. It's a completely amazing experience. I'm blown away. Jason Powers, it's just amazing. And I always tell everybody, be ready for your moment because you never know when that moment's going to come. And when it comes, boy, you better thrive.
Like George Costanza said in Seinfeld, it's a Festivus miracle.
That's what it is. And everybody's like, who's Peter Blake? And I'm going on there and I'm actually commenting to some of the trolls because they're saying, well, you shouldn't accept that. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that.
Hell yeah, you should accept it.
Right. It's a $15,000 watch or more. So yes, I'm going to accept it. Yes, I'm going to keep it. And, hopefully it's, I think it's going to help my career out just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Am I going to have to call you the nature boy here pretty soon? You're going to be styling and profiling, jet plane riding, limousine riding, son of a gun.
Styling and profiling with my Rolex. You gotta love it, my friend. Definitely show you. We'll take some pictures together when
That's
we get
right,
it,
man.
right?
I mean, come on now. I was supposed to be part of that press conference coverage as well. They had some credential problems. I got bumped out. Peter Blake's in there. He's getting all the fame, all the glory, going viral. You deserve it, my brother. You absolutely deserve it, man. You work your ass off. You bust it to get content out there and cover. You and I, and it's even more better. It's even the reason why it's even more. I'm even more happy for you. You and I went to the initial press conference a month and a half ago in downtown Tampa at Amalie Arena when he was supposed to fight Fury, another guy from England. You and I were sludging there. We were sweating our you-know-what's off. It was an afternoon press conference. We were there. You were filming stuff. I was there doing some work. So you deserve this, man. You were busting your butt being there at that press conference, filming, interviewing. So you deserve all that you get, man.
Hey, man, I really appreciate that. And, of course, you are my tag team partner, and you know that when I'm carrying that stuff around, I look like a mule. And somebody should have told me that, wearing a suit was not necessarily the best idea. I thought it was going to be cold out. It was not cold out. I was sweating my you-know-what off in that suit, but, getting an opportunity to work with TJ Reed, the great JP Peterson of the JP Peterson Show on FanStream, was awesome. And we'll see what happens here in the future, but the future is bright, my friend.
Yeah, you deserve it, man. You deserve it. All right. So where were you at relative to the fight? How close to the ring were you when Paul knocks him out? And more importantly, do you think Jake Paul has a future in boxing legitimately? Or is this just more of a kind of a Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey circus show?
Look, I think he definitely has a future, and I think people got to put respect on his name. Is he the best boxer? No, of course not. But for a guy that's only trained the last couple years, supposedly he's a YouTuber and a Disney guy, he's continued to knock people out. We'll see what happens at this point with the next fighter. It could be Nate Diaz. It could be Masvidal. It could be another fighter that's escaping me right now. So I believe it's Chavez could be the next fight. Canelo has been talked about. So if he continues to knock out fighters, and he did that to Woodley a couple times now, if he continues to do that, he won the first one with the decision, but he knocked out Woodley with an unbelievable punch. He does that, you'll definitely have to continue to put respect on him. But I think it's good for boxing because you do more research with Paul. And basically what he's trying to do is get fighters paid, namely UFC guys. And it's really a war with Dana White. And he has a point. And if he continues to win, it's going to give those fighters that much more power, which they should have the power in the first place. And
one thing that's going to play into his advantage moving forward, forget about what kind of boxer he is. He's a revenue generator. You had 18,000 at Amalie Arena, Showtime pay-per-view. I don't know what the pay-per-view buys were, but if you're able to put 15,000 people in an arena because you're the headliner, you're going to get another boxing match. You're going to get another card somewhere else. Yeah,
you're exactly right. You're absolutely right. And I think Tampa Bay did a great job with the sellout there at Amalie, over 18,000. And they were mentioning this in the press conference. So who knows? Maybe you'll have another pay-per-view opportunity, or Jason Powers, to join me. And maybe we ask some questions that go viral once again. How about that?
Yeah, I wasn't happy with those Showtime people. They screwed me out of my credential, man.
Oh,
you and I are there at the only press conference at the beginning, and I get screwed out of not getting a credential, man. So I wasn't real excited with Showtime.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll get you what I got you for last year for Christmas. How about that?
I better at least get the first picture of the Rolex with you posing with the Rolex at Ducky's. Am I gonna have to get you that big boss man security guy at Ducky's to be your security detail?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I don't know if I'm going to wear it out at Ducky's, okay? I don't know if I'm going to do that unless I got maybe somebody showing up as my security guard, because you never know. Those people out there are kind of shady.
There's a guy at Ducky's fans, the security guy that kind of mans the front door. If you're wrestling fans out there, he kind of looks like the big boss man.
Yeah.
He's got the
yeah, that's what I need. I need to have his nightstick out, the police uniform on. And him to, protect me from the riffraff there. I'm not saying everybody that goes there, but we all know what we're talking about there. So
the ladies, you're gonna have to fend off all the ladies now.
Exactly. That too. That could be even more dangerous.
I know you had a lady in the house a couple weeks ago, came in from out of town for the day. That was some nice scenery.
That was nice. Yeah. Oh, very nice scenery, and there's lots of talent there. That's all I could say. Lots of talent all over the place at Duckies.
All right, Peter, great job, man. Keep up the great work. You again, you deserve every bit of the success you're getting. Keep it up. Keep working hard. Bring a little plebe. Throw a little crumb my way, please. Once in a while, help the plebe over here. I'm trying to make it too now. We appreciate that.
we're gonna make it together, Jason Powers. And like I said,
right.
I'm gonna ask you really quick because we did this on the previous podcast. What do you get me for Christmas?
Do you smoke cigars?
Don't.
Me neither.
That's great.
So apparently you're not getting a cigar.
Apparently not.
Man, I was hoping you smoked cigars, man. You could have the cigar with the nice Rolex, have a little Grand Marnier or something, a little cognac. I'm gonna have to call you the Don.
Well, maybe bring the former co-host used to be the Don, the sports Don there, but no, I do not smoke cigars. But maybe one of these days I'll take a picture with the cigar in my mouth, acting like I'm smoking a cigar.
There you
so
go.
Good
All
stuff.
right, Peter, appreciate the time, man. Have a Merry Christmas. We'll see you on Sunday. Bucks, Carolina coverage, Duckies down in South Tampa. For all you people that are listening from the Tampa Bay area, come on down. They got great food. They got a great atmosphere. You can watch every single game from 12 o'clock all the way till freaking midnight. You can watch it all down there at Duckies. We'll be there. And again, keep up the great work, Peter, on the sports web and hosting and all the success in the world to you, my man. Appreciate you joining us. Have a great week, and we will be back. I'm going to give you some NFL picks for the weekend. We'll be right back.